Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Give me 1 second, I'll be ready in just a second. I need to. Okay. Um, there we go. I think I got everything set up. So I see Corey and Seraphin's here. Good to see you both. And looks like there's a few other people came in. And sorry I started late today. I just got tied up with something. But anyhow, I got about seven or eight images here that we can go through that you guys uploaded, and I'll edit here live for you. I didn't really have a chance to look at these before the stream, except for Darko's, which he submitted last week. So it may take me a few more minutes than normal. It takes me a while, but to get through these. But let me move the chat window down to where I can see it. I see Dave Nelson's here. Matt, Miguel, Plato, good to see everyone. And Jeanette Newman, good to see you again. Okay, so let me pull up the screen so we can just get right to the editing. I need to resize the screen. There we go. Now let's pull up Photolab. All right, awesome. Okay, this was one that Darko sent in last week, and I actually already edited this one, so let me just show you the before and after. We didn't get to it in the stream last week, but there's the before and after. And basically all I did was basically, you know, I brightened up the subject here, this hawk, and then changed the color of the sky a little bit to give it a little more tone and color. So you can see it's shifting from a warm color to a cooler color from left to right. And I think the bird stands out much more now. And there's also some very light shading here on the right side versus the left side of the bird to kind of, you know, the motivation from the light here in the left side, this warmer light coming in and hitting the birds. So that's basically all I did there, and I think that looks pretty good. And he sent me a JPEG, so I had a limited latitude on the highlights and shadows and things, but we didn't need to do much. It was already a pretty well evenly exposed image. Let's go to this next one here from Dave, and I'm just gonna apply. You know what? Let me do this to all the images before I get started. Oops, dang it. Accidentally closed it. Hold on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the optical corrections to all the images first, so it makes all the lens corrections, if any, needed. And that's something I do with every image, is I apply optical corrections before I edit an image. And a lot of times I just apply deep prime right away, but I didn't see any particularly noisy images here, so it's not going to be as big a deal. Okay, so what I'm going to do is highlight these and just do apply preset optical corrections only. And there's a very subtle change in the images, mostly the barrel distortion and stuff. So, all right, I see Dave here sent in some sticks and plants. And we're shot on a ISO 200 f/18. Wow, Why F18? Anyway, and then let's see, 1/30 of a second minus 2 EV. So you underexpose this slightly, it looks. Depending on how you shot it, that may not mean anything. Um, so there's some interesting light coming in on this side. Good shadows, and then we have some, I don't know, clovers and some fern in here. So there's a lot of repetition here with the leaves and the ferns. So I'm going to try and narrow it down to just fewer leaves and fern and less of this stick maybe, because I feel like this is a bit too much clutter. So maybe we'll crop in nice and tight. So now I have this one fern and a stick in here. So now we can see a little more detail of what's going on. Unless I'm missing something, I didn't see anything else in the image to go for. Let's go ahead and just sharpen it a bit more. And I'm going to, no, that's not necessary. Maybe a little bit of clarity. And let's give it some more color. It's an EM1 Mark II. Now I like to slide the camera profile color. That way it emphasizes the color signs from the camera, rather than just applying saturation like you can do here. I found that the camera, at least with the Olympus cameras, the color science is really good, and I like saturating those colors. And I'm going to let's add a control point here and brighten up just in this area here. Let's see how the masking looks. Like that. And we'll minimize this a bit. So what we're looking at is the masking for the control point. So everything that's in white is going to be, or anything that's not black is going to be affected. If it's completely black, the control point's not going to have any influence. But all these grays and whites, there's going to be some influence from the control point. So let's just brighten up the center. And then let's warm it up a bit to emphasize the warm light coming in. Like so. And let me look at the mask again. I want to get a little bit more, yeah, a little bit less effect there. Okay. I want to get the stick with some light. All right. That's fine. I'm going to make it too bright, and then I can just dim the whole thing back down here. Let's go back to the control point. Pull the highlight in a little bit. Okay. And pull it in this way. So I'm creating sort of a natural vignette. Maybe just add a little bit more. Soft focus it a bit. Let's add a little bit more contrast. All right, I think that might be it. Just a hair cooler. Okay, I think I'll end it here. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Just add a little bit of noise reduction to smooth it out. Let's do a before and after here. Ooh, this branch is still a little bit hot. Let me pull that back a little bit more. I think it was this control point. Come on. This one here. Right there, and then bring this back. Okay. All right. So yeah, again, my goal is to kind of just, if there was anything more interesting in other areas, I would include it, but it's really just kind of a repeat of what I have here in the center. So there's no need to include all of this unless there's something I'm missing. But there's the final image. That's the before. And that's the after. And the soft focus effect is kind of optional. I'm not liking it so much now. Maybe turn that off. No, it helps a little. Just back it off a little. Okay, so there's the final image. There's the before and there's the after. All right. Let's see what else we got here. We have something here from Phil. And it's walkway here. And then what's the sign say? It's got all kind of graffiti in here. I'm all about information, right? I'm trying to see what information I should include in the image and what I can exclude. And immediately I'm thinking to exclude the left side here. However, the problem is the right side, it's so off angle that it's no longer really the subject. It's more of an accent to the whole image. I mean, I'd like it if you had framed the picture so that the sign was, I think what would be interesting is if you were at a very low angle and looking up so you can see the protrusions of the jagged edges and things and include the sign. So I would have framed it much tighter and gotten right in here. But as it is, wow, this is a tough one. We have a leading line from the corner, but then the left side is just cut off. Let me see where the colors go when I crank those up. Yeah, this angle is just not, it's not working for me. It's hard to look at it this angle. So I think what I'll do instead, let me see the black and white. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to make this work over here. So what I'm gonna do, what I see over here is more interesting actually. Um, I like this part of the image. So let me straighten that out. Oops. I want this to be just a little bit more. Oh, I wish I could have saved that corner, but that's okay. Let me get rid of this side. Hmm. I'm gonna try and just do some negative space stuff here. And then let's make it a little bit gritty. Come this side, it's not. Let's make this harsher. Okay. Okay. I think that's where I'll go. Let me just double check the color version. Um, that's not too bad. But I think I would just stay black and white. Okay. Let's do before and after. All right, so here's the before image, right? And there's I think you're just trying to include too many elements at the same time, right? Normally when you have leading lines, like you do have here, they usually need to lead your eye to a particular thing or subject. Like if there was a person at the end of this sidewalk, I would frame it with that person, right? But this is an empty sidewalk and it's not going anywhere. Then the problem on the right side is, I get it, you wanted to capture like these sharp edge signs and the stonework, but there's a lot of graffiti and things on the stone, which is very, very interesting. And I would have tried to frame something with the sign and the stonework there, the tile work together, and try to emphasize the graffiti on the sharp edges. And then those two things together would have been interesting by itself, but it's just not framed in a way that I could make that work. At least I don't see a way to do it. So rather than do that, what I decided was just have your eyes lead up to the light up here. So, light at the end of the tunnel type scene. And just have a little bit of a hint of some of the tile work here and leading your eye into the scene. So I think, yeah, this would export pretty nice as an image. And then if we just add a frame, maybe, I don't think a frame is going to help, but I want to see. Yeah, a little bit. So that's how I would do it. Okay. Let's go to the next one. So I'm just, the way I think about images is, I'm not suggesting you need to think about it that way, but this is how I look at images, and I'm gonna edit it, to that end. Okay, let's see. We have one here from Lasse. This is looks like just your neighborhood here. So same idea, right? We have the road here leading your eye, but it's not really leading it to anything but this this heavy equipment thing here. And then I like the repeating pattern here and here. And then there's a couple of people here. So there's a nice S-curve right here. Let me just take a quick look at the colors, just don't line up. For me. A little bit too much contrast. No. I don't know if I can make this work. I like this S curve right here. This is the only thing on the left side. Then here on the right, I like this architecture, but it's being split up by this trees and leaves and bush. I just don't see if I can make anything on this side. And do we have any strong colors? A little bit right here. And this is a pretty strong yellow. So I'm minimizing all the distracting elements with the crushing the blacks and the shadows. because basically what I'm doing is I'm looking for the light in the scene, the light and the colors. And then so I'm not gonna, this will not be the final edit, obviously, but I'm just trying to just get a feel for where the light and the colors are in this scene, and if there's a way to put these together. So we have a red and a yellow here. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna have to ignore this structure here, these apartments. So I'm gonna start. This is a hard one. I'm gonna start over here. Let's just frame this part. So I got the S curve. I got this nice red building, the yellow, the people. Okay. And from here, I don't know if that red and yellow can, I like this strong white here too, but, and this tree. Wow, this is a tough one. Let me oversaturate these a bit, because there's a little bit of fall colors in here too. Black and white color. So yellow, red, orange, blue. Okay. How can I? If I cut those people out right there. No, I'm losing that curve. Okay, let me work with this. Let me see if I can get these people to show up a little better. Make them a little warmer. Okay. So now they're part of the picture. Oh, I don't like this shadow right here. Now let's reset these. Make the day a little bit brighter. Pull in the tones. Let's straighten this a bit. Okay. And not that it matters, but there's a little bit of come on. I want this. Let me just get rid of this part a little bit. It's bugging me, even though you can hardly see it. and a little bit in the middle. Oh, it's because I recropped the image, that's why. Dang it. All right, good enough. Couple of more things. Brighten this tree up a tiny bit and give it some color. Along with this one, and this one. A little bit more there. And this guy. Okay. Let's do control point. I'm going to desaturate this road a little bit. Okay. And let's saturate the greens and the orange. Pull back on the blues. All right, I think I'll call it there. And then we'll give it a small, like, a white frame. All right, so I think now we have a snapshot of kind of a more comfortable scene. Let me just warm it up a tiny bit more. Where's my warming filter? Grain. Let me try this. It's a bit strong. Back it off just a tiny bit. Okay. All right. Well, I spent a lot of time on that, but this was actually quite hard. Just a little bit of warming. There we go. So there's the before. And again, there's just too many elements here and no focus on any individual element, to me. If I walked up on this street, I would, like I was saying, I'd notice the repeating architecture on the right and then the strong color of that yellow tractor or whatever and the roofing on that house, that orange roof. And then you got the two people on the left. So what I decided to do was just to make this about, just try to make it like a nice warm day for a walk or something down this winding road. So that's why I had to brighten up the people, because I wanted to try to convey that feeling that this is a warm, it's a warm, nice day to go for a walk on a winding road. But I think that looks pretty good, considering where we started, because there was just way too much street on the bottom right. It was weighing the picture down. And if the road was leading to something other than that yellow tractor, maybe, but it's not leading to anything either. It's just kind of bending around the corner, and we can't see what's around the corner. So this to me makes more sense, to make the road just to show the winding part of the road and make the emphasize the people so that you can see them clearly. so that it's now about a couple of guys taking a walk in this neighborhood, and there's some beautiful trees with colors, so that's why I saturated the colors on those yellow trees. Anyway, that's what I think. Did we lose audio? Let me just I gotta take the chat out so I can see it. Um, oh, John Truman came in. How you doing, John? Uh, okay, we'll call it here. Audio's good. All right, let's go to the next one. Um, this one's from, looks like Marcel. Oh, hey, Marcel. And we got, let's see, this is I assume this guy's in a band or something. Oh my God, this is interesting. You got this pole here. So your point of view was blocked by this. Some steam up here. I almost like the picture as is, because there's so much information here to latch on to. And if we look at this just full screen, there's really not too many things I'd cut out if I wanted to crop this. Because these kind of images are a little bit different in that there's a lot of interesting elements. Even the pole, this looks like a stand, a light stand or something. But whatever this pole is, even kind of adds to the ambience of the scene of how, because it's cluttered, right? I don't know if they're playing live. They must be playing live because they wouldn't have the smoke coming out. I really almost wouldn't change anything here. I think it's a good shot as is. I mean, I could clean it up with some denoising and stuff, but um, there's a lot of, I could denoise this. There's a slightly misfocused here on the guy, but his jacket is really interesting too. Like, I think, okay, so this is a great picture as is to me. The only options would be, let me just see what a black and white looks like. Whoops, wrong button. Where is it? This could work as a black and white, but I do see one other option for this image, and that's to get rid of this photographer. It's hard to do that because I'd like this smoke up in the corner, but let's try a manual. I like the guitar and the hands over there. And we can kind of minimize a little. I don't like cutting them off at the knees though. Let me see what we can do this way. Would that just be too much? I like from down here to here. No, nothing else seems to work. Unless I go very, very tight. Yeah, I think honestly, I think the original image looks good. All I would do is maybe just give it a little more drama with the lighting. And where's let's see if we can make it smokier. Um, if I do this, it's just not doing anything. Nope. Um, and we'll just fix the white balance a tiny bit. It's a little bit too magenta. I think that's it. I think this picture just as is perfect. So good job. Good job, Marcel. I mean, I just increased the contrast a little bit. So let's do it before and after. I mean, even the colors, I like how they're really strong and red. I mean, I adjusted the white balance a tiny bit on my edit, but all I did really was made sure that this smoky area was a little bit softer by reducing contrast. And now now the black and white looks better because we made this a little bit softer. So that is a direction I can go. If I have to edit this, I would definitely do things like this. And then let me just brighten him up a bit. Um, just a very subtle push on the shadows. Pull the highlights a tiny bit. Just give it a little more contrast. Oops. And then see if I can. All right, so if I had to edit this is what I would do. Just convert it to black and white, but composition and everything I like. Like I said, the pole doesn't bother me at all. It just adds to the ambience of the scene. Because when you look at the person on the stage, they feel a little bit confined, right? The way he's standing, he's got his feet close together, his arms close together, and he feels very confined. And then if you see the photographer, he's also kind of tucked in behind this fence in a tight space. So having this pole right here, as a viewer, it gives you the feeling that you're kind of tucked in and tight and no wiggle room, right? So I think that little light stand or whatever pole coming into the scene helps the viewer, the person looking at the image, also get the same feeling that the people on the stage and in the scene are also probably feeling. And just going to black and white was just a completely subjective choice. I didn't really do much to the image, but overall, this is a great image, just the way it is. It does everything I think a photo is supposed to do. You got lots of information because when you zoom in again, you see lots of details on this guy's jacket, everything. It's really a great image. Good job. Okay. Wow, that took a while. Let's see. Yeah, Dave says he likes it in color. Yeah, I think the color looked just as good either way on that image, right? Um, the color versus black and white was not as doesn't play as big a role, I think, as the way the scene was composed and the way it made the viewer feel the same as the people in the picture, kind of cramped and tight. I really like that. Okay, we have one here from John Truman. And what do we have? We have a riverboat. We have, I like this crop right here. And look at the trees back here. I like how you can see where this riverboat's coming from or going into. Looks like it's coming from this area, the way the water's treading, right? That's an easy way to tell. So all we need to do is add a little more light drama because there's a little bit of light hitting here and a little bit hitting on this side. So I want to get the light. So I think what happened is either there's a row of trees here on the left that we can't see, or a cloud is on this side covering the light that would normally be hitting this tree and everything. So what we have to do is bring the light back from the sun into the scene, just like it is in the back. And then I think we'll have a nice magical picture here. So let me just straighten it out a tiny bit. And let's crop in right to there. I like that crop because this is distracting with the car, and these houses don't add anything because you can't see anything. The scene is right here. And let's try. That's too tight. Hold on. We need to be. So we got a framing here in this third. We got that in the third. We got this tree. I think that's a good composition. Then the boat front and center, making it the most powerful thing in the image, right? And it's relatively. It looks relatively straight. Okay. All right. Let's just do a quick smart lighting and see what. Yeah, that helps a little bit. Let's crank up the sharpness a bit. Let's even do unsharp mask. I may back the sharpness back off later, but I just want to. Ooh, yeah. Let's not do that. Let's just brush in a little bit of light. A little bit larger brush. Let me see what this does. Okay, we need to use a soft light, a soft brush. And just a note, I got the feathering up to 100%. I got the flow to 10% and opacity 100. So that way I can brush things in kind of very smoothly. I just need a bigger brush. Let's pull that up. Let's make it a little bit warmer. Okay. A little smaller brush here. Need more feathering. There. Add some light in here, a little bit here, a little bit here. Oops. Just touches here and there, nothing on the people. Okay. And each bush. Okay, almost there. This is a little bit there. Good. And then just add a tiny bit there. Okay. And then we just need to mirror a little bit. So I'm going to drop the opacity and just mirror some of the light I brushed in into the water. Okay, so far so good. All right, let's adjust the shadows. Pull the blacks in. Highlights, oops, that's not working. Let's try it with the color wheel. Ooh, the boat has got a little bit of a blue tint to it. I'll need to fix that. Let me just, whoops, it's the wrong button, this one. Give it a little bit more cinematic look. Just a slight shift to the teal. And then let's get the yellows, and we're going to shift that. Let's shift that a little bit more yellow or red. There we go. Just a slight shift. Okay. I need to fix one more thing here. Is the front of this boat is a little bit too cold. And it's too dark. All right. Okay. Almost done. A little bit shift to the left. A little more. Let's see if I can fix that part there. Ugh. I guess we'll have to leave it. It's a little bit too dark over here. So I'm just trying to. All right, that's enough there. And then very slight vignette, very slight soft focus. Oops, wrong button. Where is it? There it is, soft focus. Right there. I'm going to add some contrast just to bring back some of the details. Okay, good. One more thing. Let me just add a little bit more here. Perfect. Make these a little bit warmer. All right, I'm gonna call it there. I mean, you can kind of, it's like detailing a car, right? Like you can just do the quick wash and wax, or you can get into every nook and cranny with a toothbrush, right? This is the kind of image that you could really get into every nook and cranny, but I'm just gonna stop here just to give you the idea. And I don't know why, but I've been liking this white frame lately. Just a small white frame, so tiny bit more push in the shadows, maybe. Or is it the midtones? Yes, the midtones, not the shadows. There we go. All right. A little bit more contrast. Okay, I'm done. So now it looks like a postcard, right, for this riverboat. But let's do a before and after. Oh, wow, I cropped in quite a bit. So there's the before. And I don't know what lens you used with this. It looks like probably a prime, right? Yeah, the 17 prime. So that's why you had to shoot so wide. But there's the before. So it's very kind of, it's the problem is I think a cloud has come over the front where this boat is, and it's making everything too dark. So I just tried to bring back the light that would have been there if the cloud didn't cover the sun. And you know, the soft focus, it's hard to see, uh, but I think this looks pretty good as is. Um, so there's before, there's after. Wonder if we can go side by side. Yeah, that looks good. I think that came out pretty nice. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, we have one here from John Thomas. This looks like the same church that what's his name went to and did a selfie. I forget his name, but he was sitting over here in a chair and did a selfie with the light coming out. He's a YouTuber. Uh, Dang, I can't remember his name. But anyhow, I'm just gonna see if what this does. All right, just a slight perspective correction. Let's see where the auto lighting takes us. We have, and what was this taken with? This was a ISO 800 f5. Oh, this is a JPEG. All right. I think, yeah. This is a JPEG. That's because I just pushed the shadows and I'm like, why is the shadows not pushing nice and clean? Uh, so it's a JPEG. Um, so this is not really texture in the wood so much as it is just JPEG artifacting. But again, I'm just trying to get a feel for what's in the image. So recovering these highlights, there's just almost no hope. EM1 Mark III. Yeah, we're not getting the EM1 Mark III colors because it's already baked in through the, so all I can do is saturation. Okay, let me just see. And this line comes to here. Yeah, this, whatever this is a pain. And the carpet is covering up something on the floor. All right. I think I know what I want to do is let's get a control point and let's get a little more selective on the lighting that it's going to affect. Right in here, maybe. Okay. And oh, this JPEG, I can't really warm it up the way I want. What? Okay. Very subtle change there. And Yes, John, I would definitely would have got more detail out of this image, and I would have been able to work the colors a little better. Because with JPEG, you're pretty much stuck with the colors that get baked in and the shadows and highlights that get baked in. Um, but I just want to highlight just a couple of the elements like this. Maybe here. No, that's not natural. Needs a little bit more in here. A little bit right there. And then, whoops, not that big a brush, but a little bit smaller brush to go right here. And emphasize this edge a little bit. I hate this part of the image, but you got to work with what you got. And I can't crop it out because it would crop out this part in here, this red carpet and stuff, or you know, it would just, yeah, it would just cut out this part here, which I like. Now we need that red to really stand out. And it's kind of a mid-tone, right? All right, we're almost there. Let me think here. From here, I can crop in a little bit more. So you underexposed. I'm only seeing like just bits and pieces of the chat today. I'm sorry. So composition wise, we don't need much more than right there. So we have this bright area, this very dark area. I got to do something with this side. This is just too, it's just weighing too much on the image. Where'd my brush go? What I want to do, get rid of that. Let's see if I can bring a little bit more here and here. Yeah, that's better. We need some definition here on the left side because it's just a little bit too heavy in terms of light. Okay, that's better. And then we need some more here. Yeah, that's totally clipped to black. Okay. So a couple of edges here. Well, sorry, I need to see what's in here. Okay. Maybe do that. Oh, I can't see it. I want to bring out just a little bit of detail in here. This, oops, wrong button. I want a big brush right here. Just to, there. Okay, now let's bring this back down. All right. What is this thing? If I put some light on here, it's not natural, but I just want to see what it is. No, no. That just looks too unnatural. But there is a little bit of reflection up in here on the light. So we can bounce a little bit in here from this window, right? So that's okay. A little bit more here. Yeah, get a bigger brush, come in here like that. One stroke. One more. All right. Let's tiny bit of vignetting, not that much, just needs a hair. And if I do this stain, put that stain in there. Do a heavy white border. And let's try a simple light leak on the bottom left. Oof. Can I rotate it? Yeah, bottom to the left. Just to give a look, kind of a lens flare kind of look. And all right. I'm not crazy about that particular light leak. Let me try a different one. Maybe this one. Nah, the original one looked good. Where is it? The first one I picked. This one. Just back it off a little bit. All right, I'm done. So let's do a before and after. So there's the before on the left and the after. I don't know, this light leak can go. I think I should take that out, but basically, yeah, this was underexposed to preserve the highlights, right? Which I think you did a good job there. It's just a matter of working the shadow area to kind of balance, because right now it's just way too dark over here. So I had to add more light to balance just the overall feel. So I could probably add a little bit more up here, but there's a lot of light coming in through the windows that are not, you're not really seeing it on the floor. So that's what I try to do, is just have the light coming in from here, add light here, this light to emphasize the light coming up over these chairs and balconies here. And of course, this window is providing the light here, and then making this a little bit more edgy. I don't know. The only thing I would change probably is that light leak. I think that's the only thing I maybe just back it off some. Yeah, let's. Oh, I'm messing with the wrong thing. All right, there. Close enough. And we'll do a full screen. So there's the full edit. And how do you do before? I forget how to do before and after. It's in here somewhere. Yeah, that's the before. And that's the after. Before and after. Okay. Very nice image though. I think you exposed the image almost perfectly. But when you expose this way, you have to shoot in RAW, which I'm sure you did, but you have to shoot in RAW to edit it, right? This is the kind of image that you shoot with the intent to edit later. It's very rare that you can capture an image in a scene like this with this kind of dynamic range and make it kind of pleasing, right? And look natural. So, all right, last one looks like, but nice image, John. Okay, this one's from John Follows. And we have a landscape. And again, the lighting, let me just look at the lighting here. Whoops, that's the wrong slider. Interesting. So there's a ton of lighting up here on the top. And then it drops off pretty hard down in here on the bottom left. But I like these shadows leaning into the tree. So what I see here is this tree is kind of reaching out to the sunlight, and that's indicated because the way the sun's hitting the tree, but also because the shadows are going right towards the tree. So you can tell that, you know, the story of this image is about this tree reaching for the light, because there's hardly any branches on the left side of this tree, right? They're all on the right side. So how can I tell that story better about this tree, right? How can I convey that information? So what I want to do is emphasize the shadows pointing towards the tree, I think is the way to go. The problem is I can't crop it, can't crop this part out without, I just don't see, because I really don't need anything up here. I might have to go 16 by 9. It's a little bit too tight. 16 by 10. All right. And let me see where the light is now. Still a ton of light up here. We're gonna have to use a gradient to pull that back. But what I want to do is work with these shadows here, and there's a couple of shadows down here I like too. And let me just take the color out and see. Yeah, the color's good. I mean, the black and white is better. We just have to emphasize see if I can emphasize this tree, because the tree is the darkest thing in the image, but it's the subject, and that's what's bothering me. Let's try. That just doesn't look natural. Because how can you have strong shadows like that without strong light? Yeah, that's okay. That evens it out at least a little bit. And then, sorry. Okay. All right. Now, let me pull this down some more and stretch it. Okay. What I'm trying to do is get the tree to be brighter in the image. Because before it was opposite, right? That top right half was very, very bright and the bottom left was dark. So I'm just trying to go opposite of that. Like so. Need a little more light. Okay, now we can push some shadows a little bit. It tones. Okay, let's bring a little bit of color back. Yeah. That's the color. Yeah, let's just bring a little bit back in. It's kind of a sepia now, isn't it? But that's okay. It's not a real sepia. Where did my vignette go? I need to burn the edges a little bit more. Okay. We're getting there. Too gritty. Okay. Yeah, just a hint of color. I gotta look at this full screen. I think that's about 90% there. Uh, what I need to look at is this a JPEG? This is another JPEG, no wonder. I was like, oh, it's a TIFF. Wait a minute. It's a TIFF file. Something was just a little bit off. Maybe on this, what if I pull just a slight, blur? No. Yeah, that's good. Just a slight blur. All right. Now I'm starting to see it. You just need to see the tree a little bit more. Then all right, I'm gonna call it there, I think. Let me just look at the contrast one more time. Yep, all right, that's done. Um, let's do a before and after. Oops, where is it? Here. All right, so there's the before and after. So yeah, basically the two challenges I saw with this image, right, is that basically it's very bright up here and there's nothing here. And it doesn't work as negative space really because there's too much texture. Um, and then this area is darker than the area up here. So, and this is the main subject of the scene. So what you can see I did is I blurred it out a little bit so there's less texture and made it darker. But not so much that it looks unnatural. I did a little bit too much shadowing over here, but and then I tried to make the tree the brightest thing in the subject and use the shadows to point to the tree, and the trees pointing back at the shadows, so you get that full story of, you know, the trees reaching for the light. And this rock is very prominent. I didn't talk about this, but you saw me brushing this rock a lot because again, I wanted it to stand out in the scene. Because somehow it just feels like an anchor in the image to me. And then of course, when I added all this contrast to the image, the shadows in the trees got too dark, and that's why I brushed this to bring it back in. So if we look at the full screen image, I think that looks pretty good, right? So there's before, and that's the after. And if I had to do this, if I was on the scene, it's a tough call. I would have worked this scene a little bit more, walked around a bit. Maybe this was the best angle, but something is still off in this image for me. Something about the angle of view here. But overall, really nice. Okay, and that's it. That's all you guys sent me today. So let's go to the viewer edits. See if I got these okay. Yeah. Oops, that's from last week. We don't need that. Gosh, where's the original? I wish I could show you the original. I don't have the original image in here. Where would I have put that? Give me 1 second. I need to find the original.
Here's why I threw away all my blood pressure meds.
Okay. I got it. So there's the original. And so I took this picture. This was on one of my photo walks in Alexandria. And I don't know, there was something I liked about this image, but I just was not able to edit it or do anything with this image. But I did like the way the light's hitting the tree. I like the reflections of the other buildings down here. And I like the reflection down here. And then there's a yellow line right here that I really like too. So it had a lot of individual elements that I liked. And I captured them all, but I could not figure out a way to make these work. And I feel like they don't work by themselves as well. Like this reflection here doesn't really work by itself without seeing the context of everything else in the scene. Same thing with the reflection here on the roof of this car. And the yellow line was just sort of a nice accent to the image down here. I did edit this image, but I can't find it now. But let's see what you guys did. But this is what I was thinking when I took the picture, right? I said there's a lot of great elements here that work all together, but it's just not composed in a way that is pleasing. So I took this picture with the intent to edit it later, and I never got a decent edit out of this. So I just thought I'd put it out there for you guys because I did like this picture a lot, but I just could not edit it in any way that was interesting. So here's one from Serge. See, Serge captured all of the elements that I liked about this image in one frame, and he went very tall and thin. That's interesting. The reflection here of the car stands out nice and prominent now. I really like that. And then we have this yellow line. I wish this yellow line was a little brighter, but it's there. And then we consider the reflections here in the window, and then the way the sun's hitting the building here. So excellent job, Serge. This is exactly, almost exactly how I imagined the scene in my head, but I could not get it. I could not get it into to an edit form like this. And I like the little black frame you put on there. I think this is an awesome edit, and it eliminated all of the unnecessary elements in the picture. This is really good. I like this. Uh, let's see. Okay, John Truman. Now this is interesting too. Um, John didn't like anything else in the image, but he kind of went for the basically the repeating patterns and architecture. And then the white vignette is a nice touch with the texture. So this is an interesting take. You're taking the one element of shape, form, and of shapes and angles and geometry, and ignoring just about everything else, I think. And the vignette helps with this line here and the line up here. So I see why you went with a white vignette. I like that. And then just having it up here in the other two corners just balances the images a little bit. But I like this white vignette, the way it cuts off this line here and matches this line. So really good job on the geometry, and this is a really interesting edit too. Very, very different than what I had in mind, but it's still a really good edit. Okay. Wow, look at you guys. This is fascinating. A little splash of red here in the corner, almost like a light leak on a black and white image. So that's kind of the irony, right? It's a black and white image, but then you got a color light leak. So there's a little bit of a contradiction, which is interesting. And then, yep, you went for the one element here, the reflection of the buildings in these windows, which is only one part of the element, right? But the main thing here is this splash of red is this, which looks like a light leak filter maybe, but it fit in here perfectly. That's really fascinating. Okay, let's see. Here's one from Gigafish. Okay, so as far as I can tell, you basically push the shadows and tried to bring the highlights in, because I think these were totally gone in the original. I mean, just a straight out of camera. So this is just a clean edit, right? For me, this is like a starting point for an edit, not so much a final image. Meaning, if you want to be creative. Now, if you just want to reproduce the scene as seen by the naked eye and turn this into maybe a client, this would be a good image. But from a creative standpoint, there's not much going on here. You're basically working with the composition as is and bring up the shadows and pulling the highlights a little. So I think this is a fine image for just sharing as a snapshot for a client maybe, because a lot of times a client, they want to show parking and as a commercial real estate photographer, right? They like to show parking in the street, access to the building. There's a parking garage here. There's a lot of technical details. So if I was advertising for this building here, this would be a valid image, right? This would be a solid image to include. Uh, but but those are my thoughts there. Okay. And let's see. We have one here from Shaq. I cannot pronounce that. Shaik looks like. Did I do that? Yeah, this is very similar to a little bit tighter crop, but this is very similar to what Surge, I'm sorry, Gigafish just did. Um, Very clean edit, brought up the shadows and just work with the elements as is, the way it was composed. And again, I think as a deliverable to a client, this is perfectly fine, and that this would work. But I think creatively speaking, there's a lot of room here to go. Long way to go here creatively. But it's a good edit in terms of you're able to bring the shadows back without too many issues with the noise and things like that, and you didn't pull the highlights too hard to make it look unnatural. And there's a slight white balance shift too, it looks like. But yeah, overall, nice clean edit. Okay. And this one here, a little bit of a crop. So this is a sky replacement, obviously. Um, okay. I think this retains sort of the mood or the feeling when I was there, because there was a really nice light coming in. Uh, what you don't know is it was about 32 degrees or like 0 Celsius there when I took this picture. But this feels much warmer, much more comfortable and relaxed. And it looks like a nice day here in the city. So it portrays a very, very different mood than the original image, particularly with the sky replacement. But yeah, good job working the colors to fit all nicely together. And this was from John Follows. Okay. And then here's one from Tony B. Looks like another sky replacement. I don't think the sky looked like that originally. Doesn't look like there's any crop. And yeah, just this to me is a basic edit, right, with a sky replacement. A little bit shift in the colors. They're a little more muted, which is interesting. And so it's kind of a muted look. Interesting. Okay. Just giving this some thought here. It's a little bit more pastel-y. But that might be just because the colors are so muted. Pastels are muted colors, basically, right? Okay, yeah, another clean edit, just working with the image as is. I don't see any crop here, really. And including all the elements and trying to balance, right, the shadows, the highlights, and muting the colors a little bit here, but they're still very strong down in here, which is interesting. So this is an interesting edit. I like how these are muted, but then these are very strong. So there's a little bit of contrast here in colors, which I like. Okay, and this one's from Phil. Oh, this is similar to John Truman's in that you only took the geometry part of the image where there's repeating patterns and geometry, and basically not using any of the lighting in here. And this is obviously heavily cropped. But yeah, I like it. It's a legitimate edit. or a legitimate take on the scene, I should say. Just pulling one element out of the scene, and that's the geometry of the one building. Okay, and see, Marcel. All right, Marcel. This is very similar to, I think, what was the very first one from Surge? Here's Surge's. Very similar to Surge, but you kept the entire frame, right? A little bit of crop, maybe, but basically you kept the entire frame and just work with, I think, wow, this is a very interesting tone. But you hit all of the key things here. You made sure this stands out, the reflection of the buildings, the reflection of the car, on the roof of the car, the reflection of the other building. And then, of course, this yellow line, it stands out. And then you've sort of muted everything else. So it looks like you, me, and Serge saw exactly the same thing at this scene that I did. And you're emphasizing the things that I liked about the image. And this is just a totally different take. I bet, for me, this feels more like moonlight. So if you were to shift the white balance to be much cooler, this could almost be a nighttime shot. Or make it look like a nighttime shot instead of early morning, but something at night with, whatchamacallit? Yeah, with moonlight instead of like this weird hazy light. This almost looks like nuclear holocaust type lighting. Like you ever watch those movies where it's after nuclear war and the buildings kind of have this I don't know, the cities are always in this kind of light. But it's nice added. Okay. Then this one is from Marcel. Okay, so Marcel went black and white, but it feels like it has a slight blue tint to it. But sometimes black and whites do that to me. They look a little bit blue or cool. But yeah, this looks really good. I think the lighting here needs to be a little bit softer to match the reflection, but overall it's I like this added a little better. Not because it's black and white, because now you really can't tell if it's day or night, right? Because this previous image you did, this has to be daytime because it's so bright here. Whereas this image here, the highlights are a little bit strong, but this definitely looks more like nighttime and a little bit more, I think, appropriate for the way you edit it. This works better because it's basically the same edit, but it's black and white. But I think this works better, and by getting rid of that warm yellow lighting, it feels more like nighttime than it does this weird daytime nuclear holocaust kind of look. All right. Wow, everybody really liked the building here. This is from Jeanette. So Jeanette, again, is seeing the same the architecture, the geometry, right, in the building. And but these are the strongest colors of all the edits of this building. And I think the white framing helps, strengthen the colors in a way, right? So, yeah, it's nice. It's very similar, but it's straight on, right? It's a vertical, whereas this was at an angle. This is straight on, but this included this bottom row. And then John's was more, even though it's the same vertical, it feels more diagonal for some reason. I guess because of this white vignette cutting the corners here and here. So this one here is strictly about the geometry and the bold colors, which is this is a great edit also. So I think everybody did a really good job on my image. I mean, if I had to pick one though, let me see. I really liked this when I first saw it, but I'm thinking, I mean, these are all really good edits. Oddly, I like this one the best. Surge is a close second or tie for first. I like this one the best. Who did this one? Edit of Rob's image. Eric. Eric. I think I like this one the best. Because I didn't see this coming at all. This little splash of red against the black and white. I thought that was awesome. And then Jonas says, Jeanette says she got dizzy doing it. That's funny. What time is it? I got a few minutes, Jonas. If you want me to edit it, I can do it. But yeah, these are all great edits considering the original, which is what? Did I save it? Yeah, this is the original image. And now this image looks ridiculous, right? So this is what I mean. There's some images that you take with the intent to edit right from the beginning. Like you didn't take the picture and think it looked good as is, but you saw the potential. And this is kind of one of those images where I saw the potential for this scene. It had a lot of interesting elements, but I thought I'd try and figure it out later, how to work it. Oh, you edited the photo. Okay, let's see what came in. A couple of things came in. Wow, John Allen. Let me just download these real quick. So John Allen sent one. All right. Download. John Allen sent another one. And I don't see any more edits of my photo, though. Let me just refresh the screen. Let me download this one. It says Brian. I think it says Brian. Is that the print is so small I can't read it. Okay, I see here. Here's another one. Okay. Yeah, there's a couple of edits here. I just had to refresh the screen. So let's take a look. Oh, why is Lightroom coming up? All right, let's see where the new ones. They should be here. You just go up. Let me just load these modules in real quick. Okay. Where is it? I just downloaded it. How come they're not showing? Are they in here? Oh, here's one. Okay. Cool. This is from Steve Page. This is a really good job with balancing the shadows and the highlights. Like meaning now it looks more natural overall to like what you would see with the eye. And there's some sharpening here and obviously a sky replacement. That's cool. Nice clean edit. Very, very good. Again, this would be something I would deliver to a client almost. If I was selling this building here, this would be then I thought there was one more edit that somebody sent in. Yeah. Is this one, this one? I mean, I can pull it up this way. It's a black and white. I don't know why. Okay, slight crop. Got rid of the sidewalk. Yeah, this is a good crop. Nice edit. Good work with the tones. And then you weren't trying to balance black and white, but you were emphasizing the contrast between the shadows and the and I like the way the highlights are here, leading the eye into the scene or kind of framing this building overall. So that's a nice black and white edit too. And that was from Matt, right? Matt. Yeah, Matt. Nice edit, Matt. Okay. Um, all right. What is... There's two images here I need to edit, maybe a third one. Let me take a look. I'm a little bit short on time now, but if you guys want to stick around for this, I can do it now. Okay, wow. This image here, John Allen, this is a JPEG. Again, I don't know if I would change anything here. It's kind of a snapshot. It's interesting. You have this kid here. God, I remember writing these things. I feel like I would... It sucks being grown up sometimes. What is this ride up here? Oh my God, these people. These kids are about to lose it. This is very similar to the other image I looked at of the band. And meaning it has tons of information in it. And I think if I were to cut anything out, it would just take away from the image and not in a positive way. I really don't think, you know, and there's nothing you can do about white balance because there's like 10 different kinds of light coming in. But you don't want to balance the white balance on an image like this. You want all of the weird lighting to come in to give that ambience, you know, because that's how it is when you go to these kind of things. So, yeah, John, I mean, other than maybe fixing this weird, uh, looks like either something flew through the frame. That's weird. I mean, I do see one thing that I could do. I really don't need to edit anything, but if we just cropped in tight like this, maybe something like that. And then just repair this. We're not going to be able to fix that without jacking up the whole image. That line would take some time. I mean, I would crop in, if I cropped in, I would crop in like this. Because now we got this, the image of that painting in the background full of people. And then the foreground is full of people. And then there's this one kid right here, just kind of looking off in the distance. This would be the only change I would make if I made any. But honestly, I liked the way the image was originally, because we have this row of kids up here about to lose it. You have the baby over here. You have all these things to kind of look at. And black and white would just look terrible. But, oops. Um, it's not, it's not bad actually. Just pull the blacks in a little bit. Push the highlights. So yeah, if I had to edit it, I mean, I would try and fix this line later, but that's how I would edit it so that now the image is just about the painting with people in it and all the people in the foreground. So you have painted people and real people. Uh, and then of course a white frame, right? I love white frames. Yeah, actually it doesn't work for this image, but that's what I would do. Slight crop, black and white's not bad. I think it looks just as good in color, if not better. But okay. But I was just kind of minimizing the number of subjects and just limiting it to the two things, the painting and the people. Okay, and then let's see. We have one other one here. Interesting. Another one from John. Okay, this one's not as good as the other one, but this is definitely going to be a black and white. I know that. I don't think anything optically needs to be done really, but this has to be black and white. Where's my this and this and lots of contrast here and here. Maybe here. And then we got this person over here, which is interesting. So now it's a matter of framing, right? So how do I frame this? I like this squiggly line here. Okay, that's what I would do. Because the scene before was just too much of the same thing. If we look at the original, right? I can't even frame. If you look at the original, you can see that, what do we have? 8 or 9 pillars that are exactly the same. And it doesn't really present itself well either, right? It needs to be at night. I bet at nighttime this would be really interesting, but as it is now, it's not very good. And this part in here, there's, the doors are blocked off by the gate. So a lot of times I like to do entrances, but you need to see the whole thing. And then same thing with this bus. It's just all cut off, whatever that is. So this entire left side of the frame has nothing in it of interest to me other than the texture of the lighting coming through. So if you had the sun setting behind this and then you have light, kind of beaming through these columns, then this would be kind of interesting. But as it is, I'm just gonna stick to basic composition rules, right? Rule of thirds, leading lines, and curves, right? The curve here, and then you got one interesting guy. That to me is an image, and it tells a little bit of a story, right? Like, what's this guy doing? What's he carrying in the bag? What is this place with these weird Christmas tree or tree lights? I don't know what they are. But I like it. I like this. I'm not a fan of this overall image. But okay. Dave says a panel would work. And Gigafish said I'd probably copy horizontal, flip and paste them onto the photo. Yeah. Just just want to catch up on the comments because I like to interact with you guys too instead of just me sitting here editing for 2 hours now. But okay, let me flip back. I think that's the end of that. And where did my chat window go? I think that's it. So Dave says 6 by 17. Oh, a super wide crop, maybe, but then the elements aren't composed well in the frame, I don't think, for that image. Um, like I said, the entrance to the door, the bus is blocked by the tree. The fence line is just in a weird place. Overall, that image was, I would have had to work the scene a little bit because I think there is a shot there. It's just that wasn't it for me. But who knows? A lot of you guys seem to like that image, which is great because everyone has to have their own voice and their own way of taking pictures and sharing their story, right, that they see. Um, but I'm just telling you how I see it. Obviously, there's no right or wrong to editing or taking a picture. Um, I just do the way I would do it if it were my image. Um, those are alien antennas transmitting to the mothership, huh? All right. You guys, I think I'm going to call it here. Everyone have, if you're in this US here or wherever, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. I know I am tomorrow going up to my sister's place. I might try to do some more astrophotography tonight because she has pretty clear skies over there. But as always, I really enjoy editing your photos and seeing what you send in and especially what you do with my images. It's a lot of fun for me too. Um, I appreciate your time. You guys have a great holiday tomorrow or just a great day. I wish you all the best. Thanks for hanging out with me and editing. We'll see you again. I'll probably be back Sunday, but either way, have a good weekend.